Hello everyone, it's Julie from Camelia Crafts Designs. Welcome and welcome back. I'm here today to show you something I've done on my Traveller's Notebook size junk journal. It's the centre pages, yeah? If you watched me last week, you will have seen I did show you how to make the cover and just briefly how I choose my pages. I've not decorated this yet, but I have now bound it and done my centre feature pages, or whatever you want to call it. I've just fastened it with the wax linen thread that I've bound it with. I've got a little bird charm on the end. It's one of those with the hole through, so you can thread your threads through it. So let's unwind that. As you can see, I've not decorated it, but I have put a anchor page signature cover in, as I said I would, and I've chosen pages from, is it the Victorian Flower Album? Yeah, I'll briefly show you the book. You'll have seen, I've showed it before, I know other people have. The Victorian Flower Album by Henry Terry. Yeah, I do have that linked on my Amazon storefront. It's quite often cheaper on eBay though, but you can get all the details for it on my Amazon storefront. And yeah, just sit down, because the price sometimes on Amazon goes ridiculous. Anyhow, that's not what we're doing today. That's just what I've done. So crack on, woman. Let's fast forward to middle of book, and that's what I've done. I've made this, I'm calling it a faux envelope, yeah? If you look at it, you think it's going to be an envelope. When you untie the seam binding, you find, oops, it spins around. No, it's not. You find it's not an envelope, it's just some extra pockets. I just quite like that idea in the centre. I think it looks good. I've just put some pre-made tags in, some Edith Holden ones. I think I did those on camera a while back. I'll link it if I did. I definitely did that one on camera. I was saving it for a fairy journal, but then I couldn't find it when I got the fairies. Don't even go there. So I'm going to show you the size I've made this to fit into a Traveller's Notebook size journal. You can make it from any piece of paper that is more than 9 by 8 inches, because that's the size of piece of paper you need, 9 by 8 inches. And you can make it from paper or card. It depends on what you want to do with it. I've gone for a scrapbook paper, not an overly thick one. I didn't want it to be too thick in the centre. It is the same collection I used for the cover, but for the covers I've then backed it with some tea-dyed paper. I haven't for this one. Oh, in case you were wondering how I got, let's untie it again, how I got it like that, I've just used ink. I've inked it up with one of these brushes, yeah, and sprayed a bit of, well, I'll be showing you that now anyway, because I don't like the stark whiteness. I don't mind what, like, that's white, but it's like a creamy off-white, isn't it? That's deli paper. But stark white, I just don't like it. Right, put that away. I've gone and cut my paper down to size already, because that's a faff you don't need to see. So the size we're going to need is that right way up? Yes, it is. It needs to be 8 inches high and 9 inches wide. That will fit lovely into the 8.5 by 4.5 Traveller's Notebook. I'm going to grab my scoring board. There it is. Couldn't find it then. It's one of the many things stashed on floor because it don't fit on my desk. Right. The size I've done, you could alter this and jig about with it, but this is how I've done it. I've scored it at 1.5 inches. We've got it on the board the correct way up. And then I've scored again at 5.5 inches. And that will give me an envelope that is 8 inches high and 4 inches wide. Yeah? A faux envelope. I mean, you could make it into an actual envelope. You could glue it there. Yeah, you could extend it there and make some flaps. In fact, I did one like that. Then, here we go. Look, that was my first idea. Yeah, to just make a regular envelope. Then I thought, oh, no, let's make it into some pockets. Anyway, there we go. So I'll tell you the score measurements again in case you forgot while I waffled. 1.5 and 5.5. So put your scoreboard away now, woman. Right, I'm going to grab my corner rounder. I'm using the medium size for this centerpiece, and yeah, round it, because we all know why I round all my corners. It's because I think sharp corners are offensive. Whether they are or not is debatable. So that's going to be that. Now, to get rid of that stark whiteness, I'm going to grab a piece of label backing that I always use for my inking, because we're doing labels for Etsy all the time. I have lots of this, so that's what I use. If you've got a mat, get your mat out. Right, I didn't use oxide ink because when you spray water on it, that reacts a bit differently. I just used some regular distress ink in Vintage Photo. So let's get some on. So if you're doing this, start off your page, whatever ink blender you're using. Okay, see, I've got a chunk of something there. It's probably a bit of my ink pad falling apart because I'm perhaps ready for a new one. But it doesn't bother me. You get marks like that on vintage things, don't you? I like these brushes because you don't get the harsh edges. Now, I'm not going to go too mad there because I'm going to put pockets. So I'm going to start at the top of this bit. And I just like it. Whee. So I'll show you what happens when I spray the water on if you've never played with your distress inks before. And then I'm going to go and make a cup of tea. I won't leave you here on your own while I make one. I'll take a list. Who wants sugar? Who wants milk? Do you want it strong? Do you want cowing? That means a lot of milk. Right. So I just quite like that. I'm going to wait to ink the actual edges until after I've sprayed this with water. I'm going to put a bit more there. And a bit more there. There you go. Yeah, it seems to take longer than if you use your ink blending tool, but you get a much better result with these cheapy makeup brushes. Right, I'm going to grab my water spray. I don't have the fancy Tim Holtz one. I had it and I broke it because I'm a heavy-handed woman. I've not heard anyone else say they broke one. It's a me thing, that. And I've just got a cheapy one. So I'm just going to protect them papers. Look. Oh, that's not even spray. Look, I've broken another ink sprayer. How have I done it? What on earth? It's not even spraying now. It's just coming out in clumps. Oh, I'll tell you what then. We're going to have big blobs on this one because I've ruined my ink bottle again. I drop them on the floor and then they break. I'm just an absolute nightmare of a person. Look at the state of that. Right, grab some kitchen towel and dab it. Look at the state of that. Now, this was supposed to be some little splats. So, I can't believe, I was just telling you, I broke my Tim Holtz one, so I bought a cheapy one. And now I've broke the cheapy one. Yeah, I like that. Now, two ways you can dry that. One with your heat gun. The other, just leave it to dry. Can you see how we've got white? Yeah. Oh, I can't believe I've done that. While I'm in the kitchen, I'll see whether I've got another spray bottle. I think I've got some new ones that I use for oil. So I'll get one before it gets filled with oil. Right, so I'll be back in 2 ticks. And it's dry. Yeah, I did dry it a little bit with my heat gun. It weren't quite dry when I'd made my cup of tea, but I like it actually. Now it is dried and the paper, yeah, that bit's a little bit white, so I'm just going to go ahead. For some reason I threw my inky thing away. I'll just, yeah, even if I put a bit more ink on, you can still see the difference, quite like. So I'm still, look, I'm still faffing to get rid of stark whiteness, but yeah, I quite like how that came out. Right, let's put some pockets on it. Now for your pockets, if you started with a 12x12 piece like me, you'll have some bits left over. If you've just used a letter or A4 size. You can use anything you want. Use your scraps for this. I'm going to use this just because I want it to match, basically. So that should measure, is it just under 3.5? I think, if I can remember. Yeah, so it measures 3.5, but we don't want the pockets to come over onto the creases, so cut that just under 3.5 wide. The centre one is 4, so again cut just under 4. So I'll get the little baby chopper out. I'll start from this end. So just under 3.5, about 1/16 of an inch under should do, and then just under 4, about 1/16 of an inch. If you want to make 2 pockets anywhere, then you've got another piece left. I'm just going to do a pocket there and a pocket there for today. Do I need to? Yeah, I've not quite cut enough off that one. Just do another smidging off it, just so that it sits just between those 2 crease lines. Yeah, that's it. Lovely. Then I've made my notches with this. Do them with anything you want. I mean, you could go to town. You could put the diagonal type of pockets on if you want. I think I'm just going to put 2 pockets in this one today. There we go. Get your edges inked up. Oh, be careful with your ink, woman. You've re-inked your pad again. Yeah, I was watching Timothy Holt's other Saturday, and he said if you don't re-ink your pads often enough, the ink will sit on rather than soak in. And do you know what? I think that's happened to mine. So I have ordered myself a new Distress Oxide in the walnut stain, and I will look after it better. I'm not going to get rid of that one though. It's still got a lot of life left in it. I mean, if you're doing a really, really grungy project, you can use your old ink pad straight onto the side if you're in a really grungy mood. Or they're really good for just rubbing on to paper and then squirting with ink. You get some really cool effects like that. Yeah, I think my foam dauber's falling apart as well. If I tell you that I have been using the same foam dauber for about 5 years, so no wonder it's falling apart. But it's an old one from when they first came out, and do you know what? I think they made them better back then. I'm not sure. Tim probably. Don't tell Tim I said that, but I really do. Whee. That's that. But yeah, I've gone far enough down with that inking. I just didn't want to waste any ink, you know, being a tightwad. Right, I'm going to glue this on with my art glitter. Whee. Oh, do you know what I think? Ooh. That's that. So I'll do this and then I'll show you how I sew it in with the ribbon on the journal that this one's going to go in. And then we'll do another one. I won't take you right from the beginning again. I'll get one to this point, and then I'll show you how I would do, how I am going to do the magnets. I could have done magnets on this one, but guess what? I forgot again, didn't I? Why would I remember to put magnets in? I don't remember that now. That's looking a bit white, so I'm just going to bend that back and get a bit of ink. Oops, I should have waited for glue to dry really, but I'm impatient. And I need to do a little bit of inking around this edge. I like to do the edge inking after I've done the water squirting. Then I'm not like, yeah. Then I don't have to redo bits that the water kind of bleaches it. And also you get a different effect with the Distress Oxide. It goes like white and chalky when you get water on this Distress Oxide one. And I do like to do my edges with Distress Oxide. I just think it shows up better. Just going to bend that back a bit. Get a bit of ink on, yeah. Oh, it's that time already. I've just heard one of the kids come home from school. It's starting to stay light later now, so I'm really not realising what time it is. And I'm not the best at time management. I'm terrible. So some days I run out of time to do a video because #1 priority is get the Etsy orders packed and gone in the morning. Because I can't be running out of time to do them, can I? Whee. Inky dinky doo. Yeah, I can go a bit mad with this because, yeah, even though I've reinked that pad, it's not that juicy. So I've done exactly what Tim said, and I've left it too long to ink my pad. And I can plainly see, and if you can, the ink is sitting on top of the pad rather than soaking in. So I only put a few drops on. Normally you put a few drops on, it soaks in, and then you stick a few more on. But yeah, I've killed my pad. Poor pad. Whee. Hello, child. We've got a squeak off the child. Right, so that's that. Now let's decide which Traveller's Notebook this one's going in. I have decided, but I forgot. Why would I remember something like that? So we've got that one done, haven't we? Right. I think it might look nice in that one. Yeah. Let's find the middle. What's that one? Oh, that one. I need to do a little bit more sewing on that one. Oh, actually, I could perhaps... Yeah, I've got a page that needs sewing on that. So I'll tell you what, I'm going to swap the page that isn't sewn with another sewn page that I've found. I like to have one sewn page in these with some pockets. So I might alter where that's going now. No, I'm still going to put it there. So that's that, and then that's going to be my centre signature. Yeah, I like that. Right, get rid of some stuff off your desk that you don't need then, missus. And let's sew that in. I need to get some seam binding. I've got my bags of seam binding out. I'm not sure what colour to use on this. I just look at the bag, look at the colours and see what it's mean eye. To be honest, I wanted to use yellow on that last one, but that's all I've got left in yellow, so that didn't happen. So I want a colour that's going to go well with this and with that. So I'm thinking a purple or a pink. Oh, this looks interesting. Ta-da! I think that's the perfect colour. It's like a lilac-y lavender, isn't it? Oh, yeah. So when we see the bow sticking out, that colour will look good. And it will look good wrapped around there, won't it? Yeah. Right, so I'll just guesstimate how much I want. I'm thinking about yay much to tie a bow. Yeah. That's that. Now, if you want, I didn't bother gluing this. I basically just put the holes into my signature. Where's the middle gone? There you are, middle. I popped it in like that. In fact, no, what I did is I put all the holes in there and then I put a hole through the centre one. Yeah. So let's do that. So I'm just lining up my pages. I have done sewing in signatures in other videos. I've made a hash of it in the first one I ever did. most of the time now I use one of them binding cradles if I'm doing a big journal, but yeah, I'm going to wing it. Wing it, she says. Right, that looks good. That's it. So I've got my tool. So I'm just going to hold it like this. Because it's not a thick journal, I'm not even clipping it. If I clip it, I always end up losing my centre. I don't know why, I just do. I'm rubbish at that. So I'm going to put that through. And then I'm going to get my needle that I sew with, which is on the desk somewhere. I'm so organised. I've got everything ready and I've lost my needle. It wouldn't be a video by me if I weren't doing some rummaging on the desk for something I've lost lately, would it? Get another needle out, woman. Here we go. It's not like you shorter them. So I do that one and then I'll just pop my needle in or something, whatever, just to hold it while I do my other two. So if you can see, then I don't measure, I just guesstimate. I used to measure. I'm a lot more relaxed now about how I do these. I've actually developed the attitude of it's only paper. Right. Then this one. I'm going to go through, get that where I want it. Go through there in the middle. Keep my needle in. And then you spotted I forgot to put my ribbon on. Silly woman. Right, get my ribbon. Right, so halfway along my ribbon, I'm going to put my hole in ready. Yeah, I'm not tearing the ribbon, I'm just like, yeah. Can you see? It's not torn, but there's a nice big hole so I can see exactly where to put it. And I'll pop it round now. There we go. So you're just sewing this in like it was your centre page, really. I'll use needle for this. So that's gone through my page, through the hole in my ribbon. And I'm putting it back through there to the outside. There we go. So I've done this hole, haven't I? Yep. And then I just need to redo this hole. Can I see it? Can I see it? Yes, I can. There we go. So I'll leave the awl in that top hole there now while I get some twine. Now, if you want to do the fastener like I did 8 times the length of the journal. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5-ish, 6-ish, 7-ish, 8-ish. There we go. Now you can get in, well I can get in a bit of a tangle when I'm sewing then with this much cotton. And if I've got clips on, it's even worse. So, right, to have it fastening on the outside, we want to come in from the outside of the journal through that centre hole. Yeah, that's where we want to start. That all is keeping my other lines lined up. I sometimes use long pins, anything just to keep another hole lined up while I'm sewing. Because even if I put clips on, I end up having to separate all pages and sew them separately. It's just not me. Maybe my eyes are on wonky, I've no idea. Right, then I want to leave myself a little bit more twine on the end where the needle is than the other end, because that's the one that's got to sew around. Now I'm off camera doing this because I can't get all this on camera, so I'm just going to pull through a little bit more. I've got a bit extra, so I'm not worried. Right, there we go. So now I've come out in the middle. I want to go back in. Either hole will do, so I'm going to pick the one that I don't have an hole in. There we go. That's come through nicely. My holes fell out, but it doesn't matter because I've got thread middle and there. Pull that through. Then we want to go back in that hole. That stayed lined up. No. I'm going to have to thread it through my last couple. Just pull your middle and other string, and that should then reline your other hole up. I'm sorry I can't do this better on camera because my eyes aren't that fabulous. If I hold it so you can see, I'll just be stabbing it anywhere. So yeah, my last holes come lined up. And I know someone in the comments is going to say, put clips on, do this, do that. No, it doesn't work for me all the time. If I put clips on, I end up not putting my holes through the centre of each piece of paper. And to be quite honest, I would rather have my holes in the centre of the paper than be able to get my needle through first time. Because having to thread your last few on like this is not a hardship for me. Right, there we go. Because now I know that all my pages are perfectly lined up. And I've caught the centre of the signature all the way along on every page. Right, now last thing to do is we need to put the needle back through that centre hole. And before you do that, tighten your threads up. Because just by tightening your threads, you've got less chance of sewing through that thread that's already there. But even if you do sew through thread that's already there, world ain't going to end. Right. Is it going to go? Yep. Right. Try and get it coming out on the other side of that centerpiece. I haven't, but look, I'm just going to pass my needle under, and there it is. So you want to tighten it now. Don't tighten it to the point where you're going to rip all your papers, but you don't want, can you see how that's a bit baggy? We don't want that. So there we go. There we go, that's nice and tight now. And then tie it over your centre. I mean, this weren't going to be a tutorial on how to sew a signature in, but it ended up being, on it. And then I like to tie it twice just to make sure it ain't going nowhere. You might think, what on earth is she doing with all that string? Right, now I can take my needle off. And I've got my two string. I didn't do bad. One's a bit longer, but as long as we've got enough to wrap around this book. Let's have a look, see. So 1, 2, 3. Ooh, I've got more than on the last one. I'll grab back first. 1, 2, 3. And then this bit, yeah. I'm going to grab another one of my little birdie charms. You don't have to put a bird charm on. You can put beads on. You can put anything on. Some people put the little bits of paper on. I just happen to have got these. And there's not a lot else I can do with these. They're a little bit too thick and chunky to put inside journals. So I I think they're just perfect. I know that it's flowers and butterflies, but you always get birds where there's flowers and butterflies, don't you? So I'm putting birdies on this one, even though that's a butterfly. So, decide how long I want it. About that long. Oop. It's a bit longer than other, but it don't matter. Snip that off. Then that'll just pass under there. And that's your outer fastener. Right, let's tie that ribbon on inside one. So yeah, don't be afraid to sew in signatures. It's not my favourite thing to do. Yeah, that's how I do it to avoid the things that go wrong for me. You might find that you're better clipping all your pages. And the thing I object to with clipping my pages, I'll show you. If your pages are open when you clip them and then you try and fold them, it just goes wrong. Something's got to give somewhere. Unless your pages are completely closed when you clip them, in which case you then can't open them. Are you following me? And somehow something in my centre always then goes wonky. So that's why I don't clip my pages. If I have to sew every page in individually, I will. I'd rather do that than have some of my pages wonky. Right, that's my rant over. If I were using my book cradle, I would clip them, and I'd clip them. Well, I wouldn't need to clip them as much, but if you clip them at the angle they're going to be at when you sew, not a problem. If you don't have a book cradle, could be a problem. Some people make it look easier than I do. A lot of people make it look easier than I do. Right, I'm just going to cut those down because they're a little bit long. Right. So, that's my centre signature. I like how you can see the bow sticking out. Yeah. But then we've got that on the outside. This one obviously needs something else to decorate it. I think a book plate up there on that one. Right, I'll be back in 2 ticks with my other one made, ready to show you how to put the magnets on. And I'm back. Right, I'm ready to put the magnets on this one. I've not inked this one simply because I want to get video done before my Asda shop gets here. So, here is my envelope. It's cut and scored exactly the same as the one I did with ribbon. Yeah. Did you notice when I did the first one, I used that for the outside and then that for the pockets? I didn't. But I did when I come to cut this up. But that don't matter. Bit of variety. So you could go ahead and stick that pocket on. Won't matter. But we need to get the magnets on before we put these 2 pockets on. Right. These are the magnets I'm using. I've stuck them both together. Put them on your ruler. Right, I've put red line tape on one side at magnet to make my life easier. I think in US you can get magnets that are already self-adhesive, can't you? Well, you can here, but they cost a fortune when you can get hold of them. So I put my own tape on. Right, these measure 3/8 of an inch diameter by 1 millimetre diameter. I don't know what a millimetre is in inches, is it? It's less than a 16th. And the diameter is also just under 1 centimetre. So, right. So we're going to have one magnet there. I'm going to put it on the outside like that. But then this magnet I'm going to put on this side so it'll be under the pocket. Yeah? Now, I know that my flap is 1.5 inches. And that's 1/2 inch, is it? Yeah, that's 1/2 inch. So it's gonna go over onto there by a full inch. Yeah. So I've got quite a bit of leeway as to where to get my magnet. I'm not bothered about getting it in the centre here because I'm just going to stick an embellishment on top of the magnet. So let's find an embellishment. I've got loads in this box here. I've got some of my glue ones. I don't think I want a mushroom. Oh, fauna. I don't know. That might look good. I don't know, that is actually a contender. I were looking for something round, but then I came across that. We've got wax seals in various colours. Probably not a colour that... Ooh. Do you know, I don't know how good wax seals stick. So I'm not going to risk a wax seal. I think I want something with paper on. Oh, that's nice. That's a contender. I'm doing what Fiona does. I'm auditioning pieces. I don't know if I want one with a button. What's that there? Oh, that's... Oh, I like that. That were one of my favourite wax seals. Wax seals. The ones we did other day in M's Scrapbusters, and I did it with glue. I know it's a rose, and I don't know. I don't know now whether that rose goes with everything else. This could take 3 days, people, looking through all these embellishments. Oh, just pick one, woman. Just pick one. I'm gonna go for... I don't know. I think I might want one of these. Oh, it's a big decision, isn't it? I'm in that kind of mood. Do you ever have them moods where you just can't make a decision to save your life? I know that's a rose, but I want it. It matches the colour of some of those lilies, so I'm quite happy with that being a rose. A rose by any other name is still a rose. Yeah, so that's going to go on. Underneath it is going to be the magnet, but firstly I want to get my magnet on this side that's going to be under pockets. So I know I've got a full inch to play with. So I don't want it too near edge or it'll interfere with my pocket. So I'm going to whack it there. There you go. Now this magnet, I'm going to close that up and I'm just going to let that find its own place. Can you see? Yeah? So, gimme me glue. Oh, yeah. I was going to put tape on the side that met the paper, but I didn't. Whatever. Just whatever. Whatever. So I'm going to put glue on this side. There you go. Yeah, we're not going to see anyway. We're not going to see. Right, then I'm going to peel that off. And I'm not going to put glue onto here. I'm going to put the glue here. I'm going to put it round the magnet. And a little bit on top of that tape. And then I'm going to pop that on. And press it down. I don't know if this glue one was the smartest one to use here. Oh yeah, that's fine, because the fabric around it has stuck to the glue. So what I really need to do is hold that for a few seconds before I go and put my pockets on. I mean, as far as me putting the adhesive on the magnets, I forgot to check which were my north and south pole. You know, our magnets, they want to go a certain way. I normally like to put the adhesive on the first side of the magnet I'm going to stick. But I didn't. Right, now I want to open this so I can get my pockets on. So I'm just going to be careful. So I've not moved that magnet. You can see where it is. So that will carry on setting that glue. That one is stuck there nice and firmly, and I just want to put some paper over it. Yeah, I don't want too small a piece of paper because it'll just pucker up, you know, because the magnet's obviously not flush with the paper, is it? And a little bit there, and an extra bit on the magnet itself. And I'm just going to pop that there, not quite up to edge, because I want my pocket to stick to that card, not that piece of paper. I think there's less chance of it all coming off and everything going wrong then. There we go. Right, so now that's our centre pocket. Let's pretend that's glued on, because do you know how I've not inked everything? Because my Asda shop's coming. So what you'll see, that's my bottom pocket. Yeah, and I've made that second pocket extra deep so that it will cover up that completely, that paper underneath. Yeah, there'll be room to glue it, and you'll never know that there's a magnet there. That'll be that. And it doesn't matter how much you put in the pockets, those two magnets have still just got those two bits of paper between them. So it will, well, the pockets will be glued on when the inking's done. So yeah, I quite like that. Let's see what that's going to look like in the centre of one of these journals. Come hither, journal. Oh, let's try the green one. I think I can hit Laurie with my Asda shop. Da-da. So, oh, that's lovely. I like it. So as you flick through your journal, yes, lovely pages, lovely pages. Oh, look, we've got an envelope in the centre. You'll open it and it'll be like, ooh, it's not an envelope, it's pockets. And by that point, they will be glued on as well. So there we have it. 2 different ways to do a faux envelope at centre of your journals. I hope you enjoyed it. And yeah, I'll be back with some more decorating probably later in the week. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.